What to do, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the D.B.A.B podcast with the boys. It's the Ball Baron, aka Curtin. It's Coblet, the red-headed mother trucker. It's Jack to the motherfucking Garcia, and it's Cletus Mudflap Knipper, baby, on the podcast today. We got a great show for all of our listeners today. We're going to be doing our normal segments, our fan favorite, Be the Light. Shout out to Coach Austin and Hannah Garcia. We're going to give y'all quick updates of what's going on in our coaching world with seasons going on, getting into district seasons being over, transitioning to another spring sport. Also going to dabble into the controversial topic of coaches that don't and do have CDL. So I know Khalid is ready to dive into that. We're also going to talk about a couple interesting things. We're going to dive into that March Madness, that Final Four, the craziness that's going on, which makes it so much fun to watch, and talk about those teams that are going to be playing Friday or Saturday, whenever it kicks off here in H Town, and then tomorrow it goes down in the MLB with opening day. So I know our baseball heads are getting excited, right? So we're gonna be dabbling all into that. But without further ado, it's the DAB podcast. Welcome back to the DBA podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We are -1 tonight. We don't have Adam. He has some obligations that he has to go to tonight, so we will be missing the other half of the Garcia clan. But don't worry, the better half is here tonight. But first, remember that you can check out the DBA podcast. We're on YouTube. Go follow our Twitter page. Go subscribe to our YouTube as well. Also, you can find us anywhere podcasts can be found, especially Apple, Spotify, all the above. Boys, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to another great episode. Hopefully, we're all doing well. Um, all this good stuff. I know we're all busy with spring all over the place. School is starting to wind down. Before you know it, graduation will be here. The summer be here, popping off, and the next thing you know, we reload and do it all again, right? Anyway, so we always begin right with the Be the Light, and I know Jack's got a story, so we're gonna let him kind of dive into this real quick. So Jack, what's your Be the Light story this week, my man?
I was out of town doing some, I would say, a job fair, trying to recruit people, recruit teachers to this great establishment where I work. I was out and I had a few people, I had a few athletes reach out to me and ask me if I was okay or where I was. And just that little text message went a long way in my book. And that was a moment that it probably just didn't mean any much to him, but just them checking on me, seeing if I was okay was was a was a light, and it makes you feel pretty good about yourself. It feels like you were missed when you were gone, and that's always a plus. Like we're always told to be, or you want to be an impact or impress, and that to me that resonated with me is be a light. So thank you out there. Shout out you know who you are. Appreciate it. You made me feel like the light.
That's good, man, because like it shows that you have such a great relationship with your kids that when you're not there, even if it's for a day or so, that they not that they get worried, but at least that you are in their mind, and it
Yeah,
means how much of an impact that you have on them. That when you're not around, they're like, hey, where's Coach Garcia, man, saying this
yeah,
ain't right.
yeah,
But it's
definitely,
always nice to have that kind of reaffirmance from your kids
definitely,
and whatnot.
definitely.
So that's good, man. That's good. Also, for our Be the Light segment, Jack and I both fall into this category, but we have both been nominated in our respective school districts for Teachers of the Year. Yep. Yeah,
Good boy, Josh. Good job,
yeah,
man.
I
Congrats, big guy.
appreciate it. It's a big honor.
Yeah.
Not to toot my horn. Last year I got one too, but I denied it because I wanted to have another particular coach here, where I work win it because he deserves it after coming in second a couple of times. But obviously it's a great honor from fellow
Definitely.
peers to at least write my name down in nominations, at least doing something right. Um, and what I'm
Definitely.
doing. Biggest thing for me is just building good relationship with the kids and enjoying having them in the class. And most of the time, they don't laugh at my jokes. I'm the only one laughing at them, but it's all great fun. And I'm sure Jack, you feel the same way in terms of being nominated by your fellow peers. It's a
Yeah.
big deal. And
Yeah.
earlier you said that you're the only football coach, at your establishment right now that's been nominated. That's huge. So, any other words to on that?
It's definitely an honor. I don't really never get in this profession for accolades or anything. I definitely got in it for the relationships you build with people, and the reason why my mantra, the reason we talk about it every week is the reason I got into the profession. So it's an honor.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And
Appreciate it.
yeah, and I think for all four of us here, I think we all strive every day to go out of our way to do what is necessary for our kids, our student athletes, and just our regular students in the classroom to, provide a positive environment for them to help them be the best possible person they can be and help give them the tools to be successful in life. And I think all what we try to do is we literally embody that, be the light for our kids each and every day, which is always great. It's always nice when you have kids come back that have graduated and you know, can say something like, "Hey, you've helped me out." You know, your words of advice, what you taught me in class, all this kind of stuff. Those are all things that make it worthwhile for me. I'm pretty sure for the rest of us that helps, like acknowledge acknowledge or whatever you want to say for our jobs, and that we're actually having a purpose and doing good things besides just being old ball coaches and being stuck in the classroom all day. So it's exciting and it's good, and I'm sure that all warms our heart up when stuff like that happens and whatnot. But I'm sure Clee and Cobbs can both agree to that as well and stuff like that. But anywho, that's our favorite segment. If our listeners don't know, is to be the light. That's definitely something that we try to embody, and it's in the fabric of our being, and definitely high in our morals and all that stuff to go out there and be positive influences in this world. You flip on the news nowadays, fellas, and you see all types of stuff, and it just makes you sad, man. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it literally does. Recently there was a tragedy in Nashville, and that just makes your heart sink. And prayers and thoughts to the families afflicted and all that kind of stuff, man. But we need more positivity in this world, gentlemen. And I know all four of
Yes.
us we're trying to do our best part in that. So
Yes.
keep it
Definitely.
up, keep up the good work. Appreciate you, love you, boys, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
all right. So if we transition now to updates of the week for all of us. We're gonna start off with powerlifting, right? I know Clee powerlifting in Ozona, y'all have wrapped it up, and you are now transitioning to track. So give us a little bit of an update of what's going on with the Lions, sir.
We are trying to run fast and turn left. It's not going too well. We're not very fast around here, but we're trying. That's our goal to get faster. So it's going good. We are man. It's funny how powerlifting and track. They go on about the same time. The end of powerlifting and the beginning of track happen around the same time, and so especially like here we have, let's see, high school meet tomorrow, junior high meet on Monday, district meet on Monday, then the district high school meet on Wednesday, Thursday next week. Then the regular season of track's done, and so it's going good. We're seeing some of our athletes compete. That's the big thing. That's the a big reason why I enjoy powerlifting and I enjoy track is there's no like um what's the word I'm looking for? Excuses, I
Right,
guess, built-in excuses in it. It's you can or you can't. You did or you didn't, right?
right,
It's the whole, well, did you throw farther than him? No. Okay. You didn't. Stopwatch don't lie, the tape measure don't lie in track. And I love it. It's going good though, guys. We're like I said, we're going to Big Lake tomorrow for high
okay,
school. Then
okay.
we're in Ozona on Monday for junior high district. And then back in Starling City Wednesday and Thursday for high school district.
All
And
right. I know
Kids
it's
are doing good competing.
yeah, absolutely. I know track keeps you busy, and I wish the Lions all the best this week. Tomorrow in y'all's meet, y'all's junior high, and then of course in y'all's district meet next week. I know here for the Tigers, the Sealy Tigers. I know we had our junior high. I think it was the district meet last night in Belleville, and our varsities theirs is coming up real soon. So it's fun time for track. I like to go out there and watch our kids compete. That's the biggest thing is to go out there and compete,
Mm-hmm.
give it all they got, and have fun with it and stuff like that. So, um, anywho, Jack, how was the end of powerlifting for the Terrell Tigers, Senor? Do we got you there? Are you still internet issues?
Looks like it.
Like he's having
Yeah,
some problems.
it'd be nice if we do the shit like in the same room, huh? Eventually.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do it in the same room so we don't have to worry about internet issues and all this kind of stuff. But anywho, while Jack is, yeah, there you are. Good. Can you
Oh,
hear us?
oh,
Yes,
oh,
perfect.
yeah,
There he is. Yeah,
Gosh almighty. Am I up now, I'm guessing? Uh,
yeah. Go tell us about the end of
hurry,
powerlifting.
quick,
quick before internet,
hurry.
right? Quick before internet. So, yeah, we had a kid compete in state powerlifting meet. I think that's the first time that's happened in Terrell for a while, or even if it has, I have no idea. We'll have to check the record books. But he went up and competed. That's all that matters. He realized the hard way some of the rules and that the judges are strict. But he went out and he just played catch up the rest of the time. He missed his first squat. He got his second squat. He went up for the third one, and but he was DQ'd because he didn't go low enough. Then after that, he was just playing catch up the rest of the time. And he's usually the type of kid that he needs momentum or not. He needs confidence as the meet goes on. He needs to get every lift for him to compete. Does that make sense? Cletus knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
He gets
Just confidence.
his confidence goes through the roof when he gets and he keeps going up. And he was just playing catch up the rest of the time, and he didn't get where he wanted. But I know for him it was a goal to get there, and just to get him there was a bright side. The not so bright side was having to wake up at 2 o'clock to drive there, but it was a bright side to be there and experience it. That was the first time in my career. That was a cool moment to see one of our kids compete where the rest of the state is and put Terrell on the map in the state championship or state powerlifting meet.
Yeah, a lot of people, huh, Jack?
Yes, a lot of people.
There's a lot of people and a lot of big weight getting thrown up.
Oh yes, for
Hey,
sure.
yeah,
I saw the 905 in person. We saw
yeah.
the 750 in person, and
Mm,
we saw a 615 in person,
mm,
squat, bench, and deadlift, and
mm.
that's a lot of weight.
It is a lot of weight.
That is
That's
a what 2-ton Chevy truck out there getting lifted. It looked
Mhm.
like
Hey,
man
man. Yeah,
alive.
so it was like we had a couple boys from Sealy go up there. One of them, he was in the 148-pound class, I believe. He was a state champ. Oh, there goes Jack.
yeah, he go.
Um, like I said,
There he
the
is.
internet got you. Like I said, we had a boy in the 148 class. He was a state champ, second time being there. So I know that was exciting for him and our powerlifting coach. And we had another kid compete a little bit heavier bracket. Um, didn't do as well, but he still PR'd. All of our kids PR'd that went there. I know they enjoyed the experience. So like I know, with Jack talking about his experience there, it is exhilarating and fun, and all those other kids, you just see them out there competing, and definitely when you get, even from the small weight class all the way up to the big boys, there is some weight being thrown around. You know what I mean? And I know our powerlifting coach. He said that with the supersized group, the big boys, right? I think he said like some kid totaled like 2,200 pounds, 2,300 pounds, like something ridiculous. And I saw videos on Twitter of the kids squatting 850 and making it look easy, and I'm like, God, dang, those
I,
boys are slinging some iron around, man.
I saw a kid about 3 or 4 years ago. He squatted 1,025. Kid from Holy Cross in San Antonio, super heavyweight. Yeah, over 1,000 pounds squat. 18-year-old kid had it on his back. It was freaking nuts.
Did he get it?
He got it. It was pretty cool because the arena, they announced the weight in the arena. He goes down, and the arena just goes quiet. And he gets up, white lights in the arena. I'm like, you could blow the roof off that thing. The arena just got super freaking loud.
That's awesome.
It was
Imagine feeding off that crowd. I bet that's amazing. But anyways, it's still great, Jack. Like you said, it could be the first time ever for Terrell, the first time in a long ass time that they had a kid go to powerlifting the state. So that's awesome. We tip our hats to you for putting in that work with that kid, and of course that kid, he putting in the work himself and having the belief and the determination and the fight. Because it's not easy with some of that weight to bench it or squat it or deadlift it, whatever. So kudos to your kid. I'm sure he's underclassman, not a senior.
Not a senior. He's coming back.
There you go. So the weights are going to get even more increased. So we're
Yeah.
wishing all the best for him. That's awesome. Congratulations on the great season.
Yeah, he can do that weight, and we try it. We'll pull it back out.
Yeah, for sure. Or get crushed underneath it. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, Cobbs, the Terrell Tiger baseball program. Let's get an update, big man. Because I think last time out, last podcast, y'all were at 1-1.
We're 0-2 in district, man.
Excuse me.
We dropped two. You're good. We dropped two against a good team in Forney. Right now they're tied for first in district, so it's a good team. They've been playing good ball. But this past week we had a game. Well, we were supposed to play Tuesday. Ended up getting rained out. We turned around and played Wednesday. It's kind of worried. Obviously, how things change and everything else, and happens fast and all that. But our kids came out and played. We ended up playing pretty good. We had won 3-0. So we won our first district ball game against Lancaster, 3-0 on Wednesday. I got to brag about my number 2 pitcher, man. My number 2 dude in the rotation. He's been lights out in district. He's pitched 9 innings in district. What has he got? Like 15 strikeouts, no earned runs in district. So he's been lights out for us. It's been huge for our baseball team on the mound. Then he goes out there and he's lead
What's his name?
Dylan Dawes.
Shout out to Dylan.
Then he goes out there and he's our leadoff hitter. So he's a go getter when it comes to baseball, man. He's a heck of a ball player.
He's out there swinging that shit.
Oh yeah, he's definitely swinging it.
Hey, no, Adam's not here, but we got to make up for him somehow, some way.
Yeah, our pitcher staff in a whole has been really good for us. So we're still battling. I mean, like I said, I think our pitcher staff, our number 1 and number 2, have both been heck, both games they've had. I think the Forney game, I think our ace had 10 strikeouts. Pitched, I don't know, 6 1/3, maybe something like that. I can't remember exactly. And what 1 earned run? No, I don't even think. Yeah, he might have had 1 earned run in district so far. So our pitcher staff's been big. Now we just gotta hit the baseball. But we go out Friday, and we played Lancaster again Friday, and we had a little hiccup. We go over to Lancaster, and they had no umpires. So we sat around for a while and had no umpires, and somehow we got them back to our place on Saturday. Our umpires could cover it, and they came back Saturday and ended up winning 15-3 at our place. So we're 2-2 in district, and we're right where we need to be. So as long as we can go out next week against the Crandall Pirates down the road and win us 1 or win us 2, obviously the goal is always win 2, but at least win us 1, we could be right in the mix of everything, have a chance.
So I got a couple of questions based on what you were just talking about. So one, and I'm also going to relate it to for soccer as well, but like for y'all's umpires and stuff like that, do y'all all use? Is there like charters for umpires that for the different schools or like different areas, or y'all all use the same organization to get umpires?
It's all off of areas depending on who you use. So like I think when I first got here, we used Corsicana chapter. So I don't know, the chapters in Corsicana, but umpires, a lot of guests they sign up for chapters and live wherever they live and travel to wherever games they have to go to. But I used the Greater East Texas chapter these past 2 years, and then like I think Lancaster uses like the Dallas chapter. I think it just kind of depends on the region and where chapters are and who you want to use really in whoever your district allows you to use for travel wise probably.
Yeah, I got you. It's kind of similar here. Like we use the Houston chapter for officials, and some other schools that are a little bit further away, they'll use a different chapter and all that kind of stuff. So I was just curious to see if y'all all had one or if it's broken down by area and stuff like that.
Yeah, it just depends. Like I said, I think a lot of districts, probably give you a little bit of a range because I know it works. These dudes are weird. I know it works in there.
I probably said something and they're laughing about it.
Yeah, so, I'm sure. But
I'll get roasted about it. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm not scared to ask dumb questions.
Here's here's what's crazy to me, like since I've been a head coach learning all this, is you got to pay travel from where the chapter is. So like if you're in the Corsicana chapter and you live in Terrell and you work a Terrell game, well, you're getting paid like you're coming from Corsicana, but you live in Terrell. So I think some
Yep.
districts are starting to get a little more strict on stuff like that. So I mean, it's a lot of money.
I got you. And the second question I have, so hopefully it's not as dumb, so the other two don't laugh about it or whatever. But is that what you're laughing at? Was it a dumb question?
No, Jackie started mocking me, so me and him were just going back and forth. It was the same crap me and Cody were doing yesterday with Jack when he was talking.
So it's not even pertaining to us. Anyways, the second one
No.
was y'all. You mentioned that you played Lancaster twice in a week. Is that normal for y'all's baseball district? They don't like play each team in y'all's district and then like
Rotate back.
yeah.
No, so they've changed it since they've added the pitch count. So now each pitcher has a pitch count. Like I have to look, at the picture I always carry with me because I always forget the ranges of the pitch counts, like days rest. But you get each pitcher gets a max of 110 pitches a game, and like once they hit that, they're done.
Right.
Was
So
it 5 days or 4 days rest?
and you have to rest for 4 days. So he can't pitch again for another 4 days. And so like everybody plays back to back because you can't strategically place like if I'm playing, I don't know, say I'm playing you for whatever reason, and I got to beat you at least one game. Well, I'm gonna throw my ace against you. Well, okay, I win or I lose. Say I lose to you. Well, crap, I know I got to beat you again. And I don't play you for another 4 weeks. Well, I'm gonna strategically pitch certain guys that way
So
my
our
ace
next
pitch
matchup.
against you again. So now
Okay.
you got to have. It really hurts. I think it hurts the small schools more because you got to dig deep with some pitchers to get through a week, especially if you have rain delays and everything else, postpones and everything else.
Yeah, I know our district here in Sealy, like they, we play, like we'll play, school A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then like they revert back to the top at the halfway point, go through it again. So
Yeah.
because you'll definitely see teams be like, all right, for matchups A and B, like we're gonna throw our guy for A
Mm-hmm.
and let their other guys play B, C, and D, and for the next guy can go back up.
Makes it tough.
Yeah. I
That's
know when I was at
tournaments.
Greenwood, they had we played Fort Stockton. They had they had a ace. Now when he was pitching, they freaking won. But any other time he pitched, they were getting their butt kicked. And so, you could tell the district games they were winning because he was pitching. And so you could kind of figure out, okay, are we going to catch him or not in the district in the schedule
Right.
based on like what he threw.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
What, Jack?
Yeah, tricky little baseballers. This is strategic stuff, you little jerks.
Yeah.
They're superstitious and they tricksters. Man, cream of the
hey.
crop. The cream rise to the top.
Yeah, jabroni. Anyways, well, that's good. Well, we wishing all the best for the Terrell Tigers. It's good that y'all were able to rebound and get back to 500 in district play, and you keep that ship rolling. And as long as y'all have good pitching, you'll always be in games. And as soon as y'all get them bats to start swinging that shit and making contact and putting the ball in play, then your chances of winning should increase based on data, right?
At least
All that good
somebody
stuff,
can rebound around here.
We would hope so, man. We're trying.
Wow.
Dang. Shots fired.
Dang.
Somebody.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll defer from there. Couple things here. Anyway, so I'll end our little segment here with updates. The Sealy Tigers boys soccer program. Our season ended on Friday in the bi-district round. So Houston Scarborough. Shout out to them. They had a really good squad with a couple of players that gave us problems. And on top of that, we didn't necessarily play well. We put ourselves in the hole in the first half. We were down 3-0, which was not very good. We were playing at home, so that added to it. But I said that we had to chip away at it, one at a time. We weren't going to be able to get all three back at one moment, one at one time. So the boys took that to heart. And we scored in the first couple minutes of the second half and gave us a chance. And then they came right back down and got their fourth. And that was kind of the writing on the wall. So we ended up losing 4-1. We kind of got in a rut at the end of the year in terms of losing our last 4 games of the year, including that bi-district round. So we didn't end the year on a positive note, but it was still a good season overall. I put a post on social media and saying like, "Hey, our season's over" and all that kind of stuff, and people always like, "Oh, y'all had a great season," and blah blah blah. And I understand they mean well, or whatever, but it really bugged me because when I look back at it, we didn't really have a great season. You know what I mean? Like it was a good season. We had a good moments, but we also had moments that were in the dark. We went 11, 12, and 2 overall. We came in third in district. We had a little bit higher hopes, but sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. You know what I mean? So, but those boys fought and battled and scratched and clawed for everything. That was one thing I never held against them. You know what I mean? The some of the other stuff that they couldn't control were things that kind of were what were our undoing. But a great group, 11 seniors gone, so it's going to be a little bit of rebuilding next year. So it's going to be a fun little task. But overall, good season. We had a really good moments. It was a great group of kids to be around. Really enjoyed it. But now, as I transition to my off season of just nothing but driving buses and announcing baseball games. So shout out to the baseball guys out there, right? So it's gonna be good times to end the year. But
Indeed, buddy.
anywho, yeah. And the bus driving earns a little bit of extra money here and there, so it's not.
Driving the bus. Did Ditka drive the bus?
They did get that, but then did right? Great segment there. Great. Well, excuse me. All right. Uh, Usually we have our period of enlightenment. I don't know if anybody has anything inspirational or motivational this week that they would like to share. I know off the top of my head, I don't have nothing to be honest. So, if anybody has something, please feel free to share. If not, we will move into our favorite segment, our second favorite segment, excuse me, of the lights, camera, action, and talking about topic. Go ahead, Cleet.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to brat and it kind of probably inspiration, just not necessarily inspiration, just more like just a proud coach moment. Last night we ran our junior high at Big Lake, and so our little seventh graders, we have 15 kids running track for that group, and they're pretty thin on like runners, and their best, probably their best runner was hurt. Their second best runner was hurt, and another kid was kind of banked. So that we were like freaking throwing kids in that's never done the race before, and we were 1 man short on the for the mile relay. That's a big race, and one of our little seventh graders, he just got done running the dang mile, and he he volunteered. He goes, "Coach, I got you." Say, "Hey, we need someone to go." He said, "Coach, I got you. I'll do it." And he freaking bucked up, and his first ever time running the freaking mile relay. He bucked up after running the mile, and he didn't have much recovery time, so he freaking bucked up. And our eighth graders, our last leg, he got the baton with about 20 meters behind the first place team, and he hawked that kid down at the back stretch and freaking won it for that group. So for our eighth grade group, and so just our kids, bucking up and competing, and kind of did us proud. That little seventh grader, he probably didn't understand like how much that mile relay is going to suck,
Hmm.
but he just knew we needed someone. And he said, "I got it, coach. I got you. I'll do it." You know, so he freaking bucked up, and he was a dog.
Yeah, I know for that mile relay, I know our boss, our head man here, our boss man here, he loves to see the mile relay at the end of the track meet because we have some kids that run it that are usually football players. So for him, that's where he gets to see kids that are gonna how tough kids are. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, and which kids are gonna be able to have that self determination to when things are hard and they're facing some adversity, how they're going to deal with it. So he can kind of get a lot of information of kids we have when they run that, and he always encourages them to run that, and the kids embrace it and have fun with it too. So that's always a
Hmm.
good thing. What good? Well, anybody? Go ahead. Who's that? Go ahead, Jack. Oh, good.
That's all
Okay.
I was
good.
saying it's good. I was saying good stuff.
Oh,
That
okay.
was,
Appreciate
yeah.
it. We couldn't tell because the internet came in and out. Cobbs, you got anything inspirational, motivational this week? Right?
Oh man, I ain't had nothing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's there, and sometimes it's not. Just
Yeah,
whatever
you haven't
occurs.
punched anybody at work today, so that's good.
Yeah, that could be inspirational. It could be motivational.
Motivation is 38 days till summer.
Heck yeah,
38.
bud.
Eight,
Let's
What do,
go.
what do y'all get out?
May
something.
27th, 29th, something like that.
Okay, y'all get out. Dang.
Yeah, that's late. It's almost June.
We got like May 26th, I think.
That could be that.
We get out
Somewhat.
that same week. We
That's-
get out that Friday or Thursday or whatever. And then
Yeah.
Friday.
I know like next week is the end of 6 weeks for us, and my ass ain't gonna be in school next week.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because junior high track on Monday, I'm driving our seniors. Ooh, I'm actually gonna say that for next week on the pod.
That'll
Oh
go.
no,
Okay.
crap. We gotta figure that out too.
Oh, no.
Because we had freaking
Oh,
No, sorry, I go. So
Hey,
it's gonna be a busy week next week.
We'll figure that out next time,
Busy week
right?
next
We'll
week.
figure it out. We're trying to get.
Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home.
We're trying.
right
We're trying to get back on schedule here, and we're already talking about we're gonna be off kilter next week Wednesday. But anyways, we will figure that shit out when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyway, so all right, so there's our period of enlightenment. So if somebody somehow got inspiration or motivation this week, then kudos to you because but like I said, we're just be the light people. So hopefully that we are just inspiring motivation or inspiration for our listeners and stuff. All right, now we are transitioning to the second favorite segment of lights, camera, and action. Right? Worst sports takes ever, best sports takes ever. Last week was the cream of the crop with Adam was twing that shit. I don't think he needs to just sign off on that. Never come back to the DBAB podcast. It was a great one bite sound from him, whatnot. So Adam, kudos, shout out to you. But this week, hopefully, something can at least come in second place to that this week. But like I said earlier in the show, we're going to talk about a little about CDLs. Well, specifically, I think Cleet wants to have his little 2 cents thrown in about CDLs and people that have them and don't have them. For the record, I have my CDL, right? We're also
You
proud of
going to
you.
have
thank you.
mud flaps on your face.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cleet also has my flaps on his face. People.
drive a damn bus.
Okay.
Shit. Buck up.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes you got to put it in 4-wheel drive and get to that, those dirty patches. You know what I mean? So, anyways,
Someone got to drive those damn kids to the events.
yeah, or drive them in the morning to school, or drive them home. Somebody's got to do all that stuff too. I get paid for it.
Extra money.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
great. So we'll talk about CDL here in a second, and then we're gonna give our 2 cents about March Madness and all the craziness that's going on. The Final Four, the teams that are there, opening day of ML League. Major League Base ML League, stupid ass. Major League
Holy crap,
Baseball
yeah.
tomorrow.
Baseball.
Okay.
MLB.
What are we doing?
Superly excited for the Yankees
Come
to
on, Boomhauer.
overpromise and
Holy crap,
disappoint.
son.
Okay. And then last thing ever is we're going to talk about best championship event, both live and in TV to go to. So, anyways, starting off, we're going to talk about CDLs, right? And that's your commercial driver's license. So basically, for us as teachers, CDLs that means that you can drive a school bus, right? And for some of us folks that are in smaller school districts, you got to drive a school bus, right? Whether you go drive it in the morning to pick up kids and bring them to school, or you're driving kids to and from for sporting events, or you're driving kids home at the end of the day, which, not to toot my own horn, I do all the above here at Sealy, and I get paid for it.
So proud of you.
Great stuff, right? It's great stuff. Anyways,
How much I get paid, by the way? I'm just curious.
I know for like the sporting travel, no matter where we go, I think for the most part, it's $18. Yes,
Flat?
18?
18, 1-8. Okay.
Flat fee?
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna bitch as bad now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
never
feel it.
mind.
And then I think don't quote me. It's around that figure. Okay. And then school wise, for the actual school routes, different routes have different amounts, and they range from 18 to like 40 something dollars. So it's not too bad.
Okay, never mind.
But some guys,
I don't feel as bad now.
yeah, well, yeah, don't feel as bad. But there are some guys we have that are ex coaches in our school district that all they do all year is they drive bus routes, and they actually, I think they make more from their routes than that some of us coaches do with our stipends. So, it pays well over
Yeah.
time. If you do it once or twice, it's not really worth it monetary value wise. But if you do it consistently, you can add a little bit of chunk change. So,
That makes me
anyway.
curious. That makes me curious on what some of the people at Terrell make because, like, we have a bus that drives like the TVCC, like the college off-campus course classes. I'd be curious
Yeah,
to see, like, they could be raking in the cash.
Could be.
Yeah, I know. Like at Greenwood, my previous school, there were some coaches that stopped coaching and they just drove a bus, like a morning afternoon route, and they were making more money driving a bus route and got to spend more time with their kids than they were coaching.
It's not bad. Yeah, some people get out a bit, do stuff like that. But yeah, I'll be interested to see like what Farrell. Anywho, anyway, so Cletus, before we started to record, right, we were talking about CDLs. You got a little bit fired up about coaches in this profession, more specifically Texas high school, right? Because it is kind of something that is for some schools, they need it and coaches want it, but it's not necessarily you have to have it. But Cletus, tell us your input on coaches that do and do not have CDLs and how you feel about that and what you think should be the rule going forward, Senor. Floor is all yours.
Oh, thank you so much, Josh. Well, I
Kurt.
think
Coach Kurt.
really. All right, Baldy, easy
Or
there.
Ball Baron who worked at
You're
Oh, Ball
you're
Baron.
getting a mudflat fired up over there, man.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
sorry. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think it's a bunch of bullcrap sometimes when you don't have yours. Especially here's what I think, especially like at a small school. At a small school, I get where there's like for us, there's like five of us, four of us that have ours, and all 4 or 5 of us have to drive every damn sporting
How many
event.
people on your coaching staff?
On the football side, there's like 6 or 7
So
of
four,
us. So about
so
half
4 out of 7.
have them,
So
sir.
only 4 out of the 6 on the coaching staff have it, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Nobody else? I mean, obviously.
nobody else. Like I had to drive boys basketball all year because our basketball coach didn't have his, which you know is what it is. And like it just and driving it just gets old. But like at again, I think at small schools it's a lot more important to have yours than say a bigger school.
I can see.
And I've made that comment to people before saying, well, hell, if you don't want to do that, then go to a bigger school. You don't have they won't let you, or they won't you won't have to. Right? Yeah, exactly. I agree. But just I think again, especially at small schools, I think it's just helping out.
Right.
It's just part of like just helping out and not making one guy have to do all the freaking driving all year. And it's just being a good teammate. I think that's the biggest part of it, is just helping each other out. To me it's just the same as like doing laundry, you know.
I
Doing laundry, picking up the field,
yeah,
putting up the field. It's the same stuff.
right.
Just that to me, that falls into that kind of group.
I agree. Obviously at the bigger school districts, they have a little bit more ability to have outside people come and be your driver, so you don't have to do it as much. Like I know when Jack and I we were at PI together, we had a great bus department that all we had to do was put in requests, and they always had drivers for us, so we didn't really have to drive anywhere or do anything. Um,
That is
it
nice.
is nice.
Different city, we did the same
Yeah,
thing.
it's a nice perk, and those people like to do it because they obviously get paid for it, right? And then
Hmm.
when I got here to Sealy, obviously that was one thing that Coach Mob asked you know of us to be able to do was to get our CDL. So when I was able to get an opportunity, I went and got it. 'Cause I knew for me it was going to be beneficial overall, right? To be able to have it. It's just one thing to kind of help put me over the top of other people that maybe don't have it for other things. And
Well,
and I don't mind driving. I
that
like driving the bus. Like it's not like something I hate. But I agree with you that I feel like other coaches should have it because it helps dish out responsibilities equally. Because like we like to, especially for football, most times we take 3 buses to an away varsity game, and we try to,
really. Oh yeah, I guess that's right, huh?
yeah, offense, defense bus, and then spillover, whatever. But we always have, well, we have enough coaches that we at least have 2 certified CDL drivers on each bus. So if something happens or whatever, there's somebody else that can drive the bus. So majority of us here are we have CDLs. Like we only have maybe 3 guys on staff that don't have.
Yeah, but like I was thinking, like back at my previous stops, I'm trying to think, like at Denver City. I, how many coaches do we have on staff, Jack? There, like total
12 maybe.
12, and I think what like 4 of us had it,
Yeah.
maybe like basically a quarter.
Yeah.
Me, Tony, Mike,
And
Bilou,
Abe,
5, maybe half.
maybe.
Delgado, probably half.
Yep.
Probably 6 of the 12 had
And
theirs.
it makes, this is my spill on it. I don't really have an argument. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I just think it was how they mention it to us here is we start school at 7. Like some of us might have practice at 6 a.m. and say imagine starting 6 a.m. all the way, and then you get home at 12 or 1 o'clock, and you have to drive a bus still to and from games, and we take what 4 or 5 buses.
Right.
That's a lot on a coach, especially. I mean, you guys are all understand this, but 5 buses and a coach works all day in the classroom. If a coach didn't work in the classroom all day, I understand it and I'd vouch for it more. But they literally they're in the classroom all day, they coach all day, and then they coach the game, and then you drive home. I understand you guys. I applaud you guys for being CDL certified and driving kids to sporting events and the game you coach. That's applaud you guys for that. But bigger districts is a little bit harder to do because you have more kids to watch. You don't have one bus full of kids. You have 4.
Right.
No, you have to have 4 bus drivers. It makes sense, but sometimes it's a little difficult with bigger sports and bigger schools for that reason. But that's just my argument. I think it's important to have just in case, because I know things happen. Like for example, us taking kiddos to elementary schools, we literally had a contract. Had a contract and a bus driver to come take kids to and from the elementary schools. That took maybe less than an hour, so they got paid for less than an hour to drive kids in from that. See, that'd be good to have a coach to have their CDL to drive to the school and back and not have to worry about it. But that's like there's some downfalls and some plus sides for a coach having their CDL. So Cletus and Curtin, applaud you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and like you said, it does have its pros and cons. Because I know here the con is that I'm always being hit up to drive a bus. When sometimes I don't want to drive a bus, but somebody's got to drive these kids home. So.
Yeah.
Do they put a I guess you'd call it cap on like how far you drive if you're coaching and stuff like that too?
Nope.
See, that's what makes it tough. Like in the
So,
end.
like we can go to Anthony, Texas next year,
How far is that?
and guess who's gets to drive the bus all the way to Anthony, Texas?
How far
Like
is that?
4 or 5 hours.
Oh, it's other side of El Paso, bro. It's exit
Football?
0.
For football?
Yeah, they're in our district. They're in our district.
So essentially, like that's what like makes it tough is because like it's almost like that's dangerous because like essentially you could be at work from I don't know what time y'all get there, say 7.
6:30. Like for me with the lineman, I get there about 6:30, 6:45 for lineman breakfast. So I'm up by 5:45, 5:30.
See, that's like for that reason they need you to get you a sub, and you can literally go to school for driving a bus and coaching the game and then going home. They should literally pay for you to have a sub for that.
If it's that far, like you could almost be up for almost 24 hours driving a bus.
Yeah.
It's 5 hours from Ozona to Anthony.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you could almost depending on how
one way.
What if the game goes? What if the game goes overtime? Well, heck, now the game don't end until almost 11 o'clock. And you're talking close to midnight now, and you're getting home 24 hours after you've already been up for 24
Yeah.
hours. That's crazy.
Well, hell, Jack, you remember us going to Perryton? What time did we leave for Perryton that year?
Like 10, 9 maybe.
I thought we left.
It was 8 or 9. It was early. It was right. We literally show up to school for 5-6 minutes, and we got to get on the bus.
So I got up that day at like 6:30, 6:30. What time do we get back to Denver City?
4, 5?
4 or 5. So I was up for almost 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah,
between
because I remember
because me and
Bossman
Belu,
saying,
yeah, me and Belu had a swap. Luckily, we had another guy to help drive. Like I drove half, he drove half, and vice versa. And we kept each other. And we talked on the way back. We talked the whole way from Perryton to Denver City just to keep each other up.
How far was that trip again?
From Perryton to Denver City, shoot, Jack,
forever.
dude, it was.
Forever.
You know where Canada is? You can
Yeah,
see the North Pole from Perryton.
I remember that road trip from Denver City. I still talk about that road trip all the way from Perryton, and then we went all the way to Clinton Mountain View.
Clinton was far too, guys.
Yeah, I
Well,
remember those road
that's the
trips.
one thing about being in West Texas is that you're gonna
Yeah,
have to
you
drive.
do have to travel. It
You do
is
have.
so Denver City to Perryton, it's a 4.5 hours on
Mm.
by car. So
A bus is
say about
5, 6.
five and a half
Yeah, on a yellow
by
dog.
bus. And we
Yellow
stopped in
Dog.
Plainview to eat, and it was probably what, Jack, a 6.5, 7 hour trip.
Yeah,
Like
with high school boys.
every bit of it.
Yeah. Were y'all's buses capped at like only going 65 miles an hour?
No, we had the charter, so they were going like 70. So
Okay.
we were rolling, but
Our
I
bus,
mean,
our yellow dogs here, like they're like capped to like the highest we can go is like 65. So it just makes that trip. Now we don't have to drive 3 hours anywhere, but still,
I don't
it makes
condone this, but if you go down a hill and hit the cruise, go a little faster.
Yeah, but here we're gonna hit. We're
You
gonna.
just gotta hit it just right though. You gotta hit the cruise just right down the hill.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like here, what happens here is that we do that. It goes above 65. It
I
hit
don't
cruise.
condone that though.
No. I think in the book you can't do that. But as soon as we get back to level playing field or level road, it's going to drop to 62 or 63 on the cruise. So it's great. So
It's better than 60. Crap.
yeah, true.
Oh,
Anywho, but yeah, CDL. Yeah, it's fun to have. It's good to have in your back pocket, but it can lead to you being
yeah.
the one guy that's always being asked to do stuff. But
Like I
sometimes it's
know,
hard
like
for me
at
to say no.
Greenwood, I was hit up like in the springtime. I was hit up every day to drive a bus route.
Yeah, that's almost here too. Like especially
Yeah,
since soccer's done. Like every day, our guy comes in and like our bus
and
barn guy when he comes in, it's almost like you want to run and hide, but he's gonna
yeah,
find you anyways.
it was funny. Our guy at Greenwood, he's a great guy, and he's a really good dude. But every day or almost every day, he'll walk in the gym when I was teaching PE. That's right, Cody. I understand the PE life.
I'm talking about.
And I was teaching PE, and his head goes, Coach, I'm sorry to ask. I said, it's okay, dude. What route? Route 5. Okay. Do you have a map? Yes, sir. I get you a map. All right, man. Sounds good.
Oh man, so here it's the funniest thing here, like because how our bus guy talks, like he's like Sealy guy through and through. So he knows like every road, every nook and cranny. So like when he's explaining directions to you, like you just sit there and like listen to him because if you're not from here and know every nook and cranny like this guy does, he's gonna fucking blow your mind. Okay, he will fucking blow your mind. So all I ask, I wait for him to go. He's gonna be, all right, you gotta go down here to like Lufkin Street. You gotta turn left, and the two kids drop off here, and you gotta turn at the right tree. The next thing, and blah 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 blah. And then when he's done, I'm like, is there a kid on the bus that knows a route? Oh yeah, there's tons of kids. Okay, perfect. That's all I need to know. Thanks very
See,
much.
that was
And I depend on the
my
kid.
first announcement to the kid. That was my first announcement to the kids when I pick
Yep.
them up.
Yep.
If you want to get home, somebody better come up here and help me with the bus route.
Yes. Yes.
And
I do that
there's
all the
like
time.
4 or 5 kids going
Yep. I do that all the time.
because they
Now,
want to get their butt home.
the worst that do that is when
Elementary.
the bus is full of elementary kids. Like today, I did a route, and that bus, I felt like it was half the elementary was in that motherfucker. Okay, like they kept shoving kids. And I was like, it's like maybe 2 or 3 to a seat, and you got 5 of these motherfuckers in the seat. What it felt like, and it was afternoon. They're rambunctious, screaming, shouting. I don't have my AirPods in like I normally do to listen to music, which obviously you probably should have. But anyways, it helps tune out stuff. And then I'm like, all right, who knows the route home? And next thing I know, blah 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 blah.
You
And then you get
stop
to a
here.
road. Yeah, you get to a road and you're like, all right, do I turn right or left? And like some of these kids, you got to realize they don't know their right or left. You know what I mean? So You got that going on, and then you got half the bus saying turn right, half the bus turn left. Then you got to the thing where you're driving. You're like, all right, tell me where the stops are. And they're like, okay.
Stop!
Don't say anything. Stop!
You missed the stop.
Yeah, you missed it.
You freaking hit the brake.
Yes. So nowadays, I just stop and make them. All right, walk. Get the walking. Thank
Yeah, that's what I said. If we miss
Get
the
to
stop,
walking.
you're walking back. Let's go.
you. Get the walking. So
Get on, get
it's-
at my bus. Get
it's-
on, get.
it's pretty entertaining.
Uh.
It's entertaining, but sometimes like you just like when I like last year I got stuck on doing the same routes in the morning and afternoon. So like I knew the routes, I knew the stops, all this stuff. So when that occurs, I'm able to just plug away up here with music and just go. And I don't even care what's going on behind me. No, obviously I'm not letting them go World War VIII back there, but um as long as they're not, running around or trying to kill each other and stuff like that, it's okay. They're gonna scream and shout. They got all the energy, you know what I mean? So
That's normal.
we're gonna let them do that thing. But I'm up there cruising, listening to my music, stuff like that. But anywho, so yeah, fun topic there. Now, transition to the next segue. Okay, we're we're closing the month of March out. Okay, if I can get my words out right now. NCAA tournament, men's basketball, absolute madness. Just as the name suggests, right? I'm sure we can all agree with that. Every year it's the same thing. Madness, madness, brackets. Everybody's
Bussin'.
wanting that perfect bracket. I don't think in our lifetime that we'll ever see a perfect bracket. Just from the number of teams, how the ball bounces, how teams play. It's just you'll never be able to predict the perfect bracket. I think. I don't even think a computer can do that. You know what I mean? Just because there's so much uncertainty with March Madness, and that's what makes it so great. And one of the stats I have for the end of the podcast, we all kind of know, we kind of said it before, but it's a really interesting one when we talk about number one seeds. But when we look at the Final Four, right, and what's crazy is look at the teams that are in the Final Four. We got FAU against San Diego State, and then you got the University of Miami against the University of UConn. Out of those four teams, there's been one school that has been there before. So the
UConn.
other three, the other 3
Mhm.
is our first time in the Final Four, which is great. It's great to see new blood come through and stuff like that, but it's just so mind blowing when you had
Well-
teams like Bama and Houston and all these other schools that are more blue bloods or were the top teams, and now the final, getting to the Final Four, and it's FAU, who's had a great run, very entertaining to watch on the basketball court. Watch them play offense, defense, and transition on the court. You had San Diego State the same way, playing really, really good defense. You had UConn, who's caught fire in the tournament and played really, really well. And then, of course, you have Miami, who's same thing. You know what I mean? They've played some tough teams. They've played some good ball, and they've shot the ball really well, which is what helped them against Houston, was they shot the rock really good. But it's just been really, really entertaining to see. So it'll be good. It's gonna be interesting to see and get y'all's feedback. I know Cleet in college, you're not really basketball guys, but Cleet, I'm pretty sure you have at least dabbled in it a little bit. And then when Jack gets back here in a second, we'll get his 2 cents. But Cleet, you got anything about the Final Four and the teams that are there?
Well, it's what they said. I think I saw some on ESPN. This year you have like the new blood, what they're calling like UConn. This group. Last year you had the blue bloods. Who was the Final Four? North Carolina, Kansas.
Yep.
Who was the other two?
Gonzaga,
Gonzaga
was
and
there.
what was the other one?
UCLA.
Yeah, I was
Was
about to say
it? So
UCLA.
it was like the blue bloods of the freaking blue bloods.
Yeah.
Like, the basketball schools ran the Final Four last year. Now we have, I would consider UConn, but they're more known for the girls, the UConn
Yep.
women.
Yeah.
But they have history. They have history in the tournament of being like a recent blue blood, not
Every
like a
time they're in
traditional.
every time they're in Texas, they win.
Yeah.
They've won 4 national titles.
And I can argue this. San Diego State, the last what was it, Jack? Probably 2 years, they've been picked to make a little bit of run, and they just always petered out in the second weekend.
Hey, I know what's wrong with it. Ran out of gas.
Right. And now, because I remember last year I picked them to go to the Elite Eight, and they got beat in the second round.
Yeah.
Last year, and now they've made a heck of a run this year.
It also has a little bit to
matchups
do.
too.
It's also about a little bit had to do with the thing called that the NCAA can't control. It's called a little thing called the transfer portal.
Okay.
That has created the madness that we have seen.
Right.
To the extent, I mean, you could see the stats, you could see this and that. Like, for example, the amount of money and that these three schools have in their players makes sense why they're where they are.
What's
Oh yeah,
the
it is a new era with NIL and the
Yeah, and
transfer
that's
portal,
what I'm
and
saying.
you're
That,
basically able to build a team with all that kind of stuff. But um, I totally agree. When you look at Miami, like I got told some of the coaches here, like obviously I'm a big Kane fan, but like it's more of a Kane fan for football and basketball and baseball programs, which have done well. Baseball programs really consistently really good, but like I'm not like a diehard fan for those programs if that makes sense. Um, but I'm not gonna, it's like our OC is a big he's a big Houston Cougar fan, but I didn't like rub it in his face that the Canes beat him. You know what I mean? That's not I'm not gonna be that type of person or
only when it's the Rams, huh?
what kind of fan are you? Crap.
no, or not. If there was Canes football, then I would have rubbed it in his face because I'm more invested in their football program.
He
But
doesn't have a pony in this race. But
yeah, anyways,
that
but
I
yeah,
would say,
that
go ahead. I would say that that's the biggest thing of why this is crazy. Is like Cleats mentioned the blue bloods of the blue bloods, and now you're entering the world of the new bloods. Well, you think about it, the blue bloods were throughout the tournament, and they got high seeds. The
Is it because of
high 1-2 seeds when
is it
we
because of
all
blue blood?
yes, I strongly agree. I think they were saying that Kansas had the best team to repeat. Well, to me, I don't think Kansas was the best team, and they gave them a 1 seed. I think if anything,
Texas had a better.
I agree. I think
I
Texas was
agree.
the better team
I
in the
agree.
Big 12, and they got a 2 seed. I think the seeding thing is kind of like hit or miss with some of them. But sometimes the better team ends up like I was telling with Cobbs earlier. Me and him were just shooting the crap earlier, and I was talking. If you really want to watch, like if you're like a basketball coach and you're into basketball for strategy, watch women's March Madness because
Yes.
they have to play the strategies. They use plays, design, they set things up, and they have to try to get the other opponents to fall asleep with what they've been doing to do something else. Men is just I'm gonna use
Athleticism.
I'm gonna use my boy. I'm gonna use my dog against your dog. Like a perfect example is Timmy in Gonzaga versus UCLA. Timmy was hot. He wasn't missing. He was dominating in the post, and they rode that cow to a guy with the promised land. And the team that's the hottest team, you use the hot hand, and that's how men's sports are. Use the mismatch, take advantage of it. And I think they said Purdue was the tallest team in the tournament,
They
and
were.
the FDU was the shortest team in the tournament. Well, they used their speed.
That's great.
They used that against Purdue to beat Purdue because they said that was a mismatch and they took advantage of it. You can see through. I mean, the tale as old as time. Underdogs, upsets
Hmm.
happening because of the mismatches and opportunities, and even like missed opportunities. Like you can feel the swing of a game when they call that 8-minute timeout in March Madness. Every game, the 8-minute timeout, they have a commercial break. So before that 8-minute mark, you have usually both teams are shooting hot. Like they won't miss, they won't miss. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That 8-minute mark, someone goes in a drought,
Hmm.
right? And then they go to the 4-minute mark, and that's when they'll say such and such has been on a drought 4 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, you could. This is, I don't know what it is. You could check it. You could fact check me here, but they'll have a team at the bottom that says in a scoring drought, last 4 minutes. If the other team's on a 2-0 run or 12-0 run, then
Yep.
they go that last timeout before the big timeout before the end of the game, before we get the last 2 minutes or 2:30 in the game, and that's when we've been talking about the role of the scoring 69. You know,
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Jack, because I was gonna bring it up just now.
And
Um,
if you can fact check me for that, but every game it felt like the 8-minute mark before the 8-minute mark, teams were scoring both ways. Then they hit that 8-minute timeout. They go to the timeout. One team's scoring, the other team struggling, and then that's when I think by that time I texted you guys and said, "Watch for the rule here."
yeah.
And it's even better. This is just this just tickles me. At 13 minutes or 8 minutes left in the game, Texas was up. All right. They got the rule of 69 first, and they still lost. And that rule only broke twice.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up because
And one was against the Longhorns.
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was our favorite thing that we were always looking forward to.
Yes.
Because
Every time.
before, I think the first one was the Michigan State and Kansas State game, correct?
Yes.
Right, where that first got broken. Previously to that game in this March Madness tournament, whichever team scored 69 first in the game. For those listeners that don't know, they were undefeated in the tournament. Right, so that was the magical number. Well, then Kansas State came and ruined that, right, against Michigan State, right? So that broke it. And then,
Big
like
12
Jack
team.
said, yeah,
That's
and then
Big 12 team.
so the Big 12 team broke it twice, I guess. You know what I mean? Because then Miami came and did it right back to Texas, which is always great for the Longhorns to get beat, right? Wreck them, okay? All that
Hey,
kind of good stuff.
that's all right. We swept you on baseball this past weekend, so it is what it is.
Well, it's baseball. I wouldn't put my
Just
gas-
saying. Swept Tech in baseball this weekend.
And apparently, okay, so you're gonna bring that up right now, okay?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Hey, y'all are bashing on them, so I had to say it.
Apparently, from Tech Twitter, Tech should have won the games, but they screwed themselves.
Yeah, they should have. They did screw themselves. One of them was like a walk-off pass ball or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Crazy. But
But the last two, they lost by walk-offs.
Yeah, think about that series. I know we're changing subjects on this, but think about that series
Damn baseball.
in the past 2 years. Tech won against Texas at Tech on a walk-off steal home plate. Still home. Remember against the lefty? He was a lefty on the mound and Tech stole home.
Yep.
Then you turn around. Now, I want to say, wasn't that like the last game of the series too last year, maybe?
I don't remember.
Yes, it was a Sunday.
So then you turn around, and the very first game on a Friday, Texas wins on a walk-off pass ball. Like, how crazy is that? Like, I mean, obviously it's against Texas. I get that, like, but it's still wild. Like, it's been a fun 2 years watching that series.
Yeah, and they're both good baseball programs.
They're both. Did you see that too? There's 6 teams or 5 teams in the Big 12 that are ranked in top 25 right now in baseball.
Hey, the Big 12 is a good baseball conference too, man.
Yeah.
So it's been building
Football
up.
or
So.
baseball and basketball.
And basketball.
impressive.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see? Speaking of that, did you see what's his name take shots at the Big 12? Can't remember who it was saying their conference is superior. I can't remember who it was. One of the coaches said, and I said, "Didn't you just lose to the team they're saying is superior? Didn't you?" I said, "Didn't you just said that your conference is the best, but your conference literally lost to another conference's not number 1 seed." So that's all I gotta say. I think it was Michigan State. I think it was Izzo. I respect Izzo, like what he says, but
Yeah.
know your role, buddy. You lost to the number 4 team in the Big 12.
Yeah. Know your role, Jabroni.
Eat it.
Eat it. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, great. I think both games are Saturday. Off the top of my head, trying to remember here in H Town. Hard to predict, right? I kind of want to go FAU. I think they're playing really good, but so is San Diego State. And then, of course, I'd like to say the U, but UConn, man, they absolutely demolished Gonzaga. So you kind of have a little bit of a leery. Go
I
ahead.
did mention to somebody that the winner of the bracket of UCLA and Gonzaga bracket will win the championship.
I think
so far, who is the hottest team out of that bracket?
UConn.
So I think I told Adam. But
I don't know if it was you, but somebody said like whoever wins the Miami UConn Final Four would be the one that wins it all.
Yeah, wow.
That might have been you, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's either it's going to be UConn wins it for a 5th time, or we're going to have somebody who wins their very first
new one, baby, new one.
Yeah, I think a new one would be good. Well, we have a 75% chance of that happening. Okay,
that a boy stats.
75%,
baby,
and then it's going to drop down to you. Thank you, and it's going to drop down to 50% after that. So, we have our stuff there. All right, switching gears here again. Right, love switching gears on this show. Opening day of the Major League Baseball is tomorrow. Right, so we're all excited. Right, I know Cleet's excited to watch the Astros play, and defend their title. All that good stuff. Okay, so we're good. We're good. We're done talking about the Astros now. We got the Rangers coming up. The
You ain't gonna
Rangers should
talk
be.
about the fucking Yankees. Shut the hell up on that deal. Damn choke artist. Here's my question. Here's a better question. Did the
Anyways, anyways, to put Clean on timeout so we can finish this. We got the Rangers, right? I think the Rangers are going to be an improved ball club. They've made some really good investments into their rotation and into their infield and to their bats. So I think that he's still talking in timeout, so we're not going to bring it back yet. So I think the Rangers are really going to be improved. I think they can really challenge for a wild card this year. I think Jack and Cobbs both
I
agree.
agree.
And then I'm not going to spend too much time on the Yankees because I think that they're going to overpromise and
Hey, I do have a question
underpromise
about the Yankees
right
though.
there.
Yankees daddy?
How do you like the who is he? Young shortstop or whatever his name is? I don't even know how to say his name.
Anthony Vlop or
Yeah, however you say it. How do you like that kid?
I think the Yankees like their prospects in their top 5. I think they have some really good prospects with him and a couple of other guys. I just don't think they get their fair shake of the stick. Sometimes I think they kind of are though over the course of the season they're going to be called up for relief appearances here and there when the Yankees are going to go through their normal BS of having
Yeah.
75% of their team hurt. Um, I'm glad that he is starting the year on the opening day roster. I think he's a great
I was
talent,
just saying,
and I think he's definitely a huge upgrade over um, kind of Falefa at shortstop, both
yeah.
at the plate and in the
Is,
field.
is he as
I don't
good
know.
as they say he is? Like I haven't got to watch him play or anything, but like everything I keep saying is like they keep talking about. Obviously, Jeter's Jeter, but they keep like comparing him to all that. How he's
Yeah,
all
I
that.
don't. I don't like when sports people do that in general.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
like like it's like the next good basketball player that comes up that's somewhat similar, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, is he the next LeBron?" I'm
Right.
like, "Fuck no!"
Just shut
It's
up.
whoever it. Yeah, let the kid
Yeah.
be the kid. Like they do all the same. And it happens for every sport. Like, is this the next MJ?
Just next Tom
No, there's only
Brady.
one MJ. There's only
The
one
next
motherfucking
Kobe.
MJ.
Next
Right. There's
Tom
only one.
Brady. Oh yeah.
Let the kid be the kid. So like for this one, like yeah, they're gonna compare him to Jeter and stuff like that. And of course, you never know how shit's gonna play out with his career. But I definitely think that he has the tools to play at the major league level. He has a pretty good swing. He's got a little bit of pop to him, but he's gonna do one thing that you know, whatever the hell's name is, Kiner Falefa couldn't do consistently, and he's gonna put the ball in play.
Yeah.
I think he's better. I think he has a better glove than Kiner Falefa. I don't think he's gonna make as many errors. Now he's young, so he's gonna have that to go with it. But I think he's had a really good spring, uh, ball and stuff like that. But the Yankees, they already have like 4 or 5 guys that are starting off on the injured reserve.
Do they really?
Yeah,
Hey,
like they're all like their top pitching signing of free
Yeah.
agency is starting on an IR.
Oof. Hey,
heck of
that's
a
one.
heck of a
That's been a
time.
bright spot for the Rangers. Is I was worried about Degrom starting off on the IR,
Cash.
but especially from his history from everywhere else he's been. And
He's starting tomorrow.
Yeah,
I know he's starting tomorrow. He's been pretty good in spring. Like he's had rallies.
I think if he stays healthy,
And Martine,
and then I don't, and Martine is good, and I don't know
that
who the
other
other one
guy,
are.
they've had that, but that's not the problem. Is their starting? It was never really their problem. It was when you had to go to their bullpen.
That's been
Yeah.
the relief.
Yeah,
I mean, like they literally get to 6 or 7 innings, and I would literally watch them last year. It's like, okay, we're sitting pretty good in the 6th and 7th inning, and then you go to the 7th inning, they bring that relief guy in, and
And
then
he gets hammered.
he gets destroyed. Me and Hannah went to the Rangers Giants game last year, and the Rangers were up 3 runs, 4 runs or something, and they go to the 7th inning. They bring in a relief guy. Bases were loaded. The guy gives him a pitch right down the middle. He crushes it and gets a grand slam, and Rangers are playing catch up the rest of the time. Like the Rangers can, like the problem with them is if they're ahead, they're most likely going to lose their lead, and they'll have to play catch up in the 8th and 9th inning.
The
But
good
if they
thing,
can
it's hard
keep
to do.
it, if they could keep the lead and bring a relief guy in that could help them keep the
All right,
lead and keep the bat swinging ahead,
all right.
they'll be better off. Which I think they got the firepower now. Just the relief has always been their biggest issue. Like
Do they
I think
have that guy, that relief guy?
They have a few. I think they signed a few, but
They signed a few and they kept, what was it, Bush or whatever his name was?
Mhm.
but
He was pretty good. But like,
But they're making. It seems like over the last couple of years, they've been making moves to better the program because at one point, like they didn't have any pitching.
oh no,
No,
You know, like their starting
They're
pitching
awful.
wasn't very good. Their bullpen was terrible.
and they could barely hit.
They've yes,
and the best thing,
but
I think
they're making improvements.
I think one of the better things they did was bring back Maddox. He was part of that World Series run, and when he was part of that World Series run, that pitching was lights out.
But it was also those pitchers.
Oh, I agree, but I'm saying at
It's
least.
not always about the
No, I agree.
X's and O's. It's Jimmy's and Joe's. That was probably one of
Hey,
the best staffs of all time.
Maddox
Hey,
helped
man.
bring those guys in too, though. So like he sees it now, you know.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying I literally listened. I talked to an Astro fan about this, and he goes, "You had one of the best." It wasn't you, Cletus, but he goes, "You guys, if you look at it, stats, numbers, that era when you guys went to the back-to-back World Series and AL division titles, that pitching staff was the best in all time." In the last 20 years, and you guys did not win a World Series. He pointed that out, and then he gave me a little sucker punch with it. He goes, "Just so you know, the numbers don't lie," and that was one of the best pitching staffs that the Rangers and AL has seen in a really long time, and you still didn't pull out the W's.
Thank you, Nelson Cruz.
Well, it's not old Nelson Cruz,
but he can catch a ball, man. Running to the wall, it's freaking World Series. Something like a ballerina in right field.
Right.
Anyways, I know we're all excited for the actual season to begin because I started getting tired of all the updates with the spring training games because they didn't mean shit. But I'm excited to see. I'm
ready for the
I don't
food.
know. I'm sure the food looks really good at the ballpark there for the Rangers. It looked really good. The Yankees are trying to do something stupid for Judge.
Hey, by the way, Curtin, June 18th is Father's Day, so the Yankees better get the Astros something nice, all right?
Hey, Mudflap just said.
Yankees daddy.
I got nothing to say because it's true. You know what I mean? That's like I told somebody a little while ago that I might have told y'all last time, but like I think the Yankees are going to scrape into the playoffs. They're not going to win their division. They're going to be a wild card. They're going to barely win their wild card. They're going to run into the Astros. They're going to get beat again. So,
I can see it.
That's their boogie guy right now.
Judge going to have a good year? Is he going to have a down year?
He got paid, didn't he?
Yes,
he did. I still think he's gonna produce. I don't think he's going to have the year he did last year. I would assume that he's going to get anywhere between 35 and 45 home runs.
Yeah, there's no way he has a year like last year. His year last year was just unbelievable.
Yeah. I think he kind of comes back down to reality.
But you know the trend. Every time a dude gets paid,
well, their level of play drops down. Exactly. It's across all sports.
I agreed. That's why I was wondering.
All sports. Go ahead, Jack.
Statistician, I'm very upset with you. You, of all people, have not brought this in conversations, text messages, or anything, and you're normally good at this. The whole Lamar Jackson thing. What is your opinion on this? You have not brought it up in any conversation because you're usually good at this. So here's a slap on the wrist for you.
Is he getting?
Well, the last time we talked about NFL stuff, like I said, Lamar, like he had signed his franchise tag. They're still working on a deal. He wants something that's fully guaranteed or close to it, which I completely understand because you have quarterbacks in the league like Kirk Cousins and Deshaun Watson who have their contract fully guaranteed. And in his eyes, he feels that he's a better player than him, which I wouldn't disagree with. Now, the only thing about it is that he's injury prone.
You're saying Deshaun Watson's better than Lamar Jackson?
No. I said I'm talking about Lamar being better than those.
Okay, I was about to say.
Well, he also saw Slappy from the freaking Giants getting paid.
Yes, and
that
created, and I knew that would create that effect.
It is and again, I don't pay attention and I know the cute quarterback market's the quarterback market, but he didn't. To me, that cat from the Giants, not great. I mean, he's serviceable at best.
That's coming from the Titans fan that has Ryan Tannehill quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we're awful.
We talked about
I would take Lamar right now. Give us Lamar.
But we've talked about it before because I made the point that Jones was asking for $45 million a year, and he's nowhere close to that. But part of it is that's the market for quarterbacks. That's what's been set. That's the precedent. And if the team has the money and they don't want to lose him because they don't want to have to worry about starting the process all over again, then they're going to pay him. That's just part of it. Now, I feel that Lamar Jackson should be paid because he is definitely the top 5 quarterback in the league, just based on pure athleticism.
Well, and it's clear he's gotten better.
Right?
Just athleticism. Why just athleticism? I think he's
Well, I'm just saying because he's not.
Well, it's clear.
No, yes, but and I'm not a quarterback expert, so again, this could be
We
the
got
worst
one
thing
with
ever.
us,
But I don't think.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
Cobbs can attest to it, but I don't think he's. I said he's a top 5 quarterback in the league, so that obviously merits something.
yes.
But I don't think he's the best passing quarterback.
No, but that's what I was fixing to say. Is when he came in, that was his. For I don't know how many years, 1, 2, 3 years, whatever. That was his worst thing. Everybody docked him on. Yeah, you're an athlete. You can do all these running. You can run around, do all that, whatever. But I think, and I don't know. I mean, you have to look up stats to really put it to the test. But just watching highlights and everything else, his passing has improved 100% better than what it was. And so I think
absolutely.
I think in his mind, I mean, hey, I'm improving, so why not pay me?
And overall, it's like they created
I-
and brought in coordinators, brought in linemen, brought in receivers, brought in weapons to use his abilities to the best of their abilities.
Yes.
Well, Daniel Jones, he's not the same type of. You're not going to completely change your offense in order to. You're not going to bring in a coordinator, a special type of coordinator to come coordinate Daniel Jones's type of style offense. Now, Lamar Jackson, you literally changed the whole the offense literally changed when Lamar Jackson stepped foot on that field for the first time. They went to triple option. They literally did a bunch of things that Lamar Jackson's in his wheelhouse, and they were dominant. And he created, and what did he do? He started slinging the rock around and got better at that. Well, to me, that's your boy. That's your offense. I mean, the quarterback market's ridiculous. I understand that, and you got to pay what they want to be paid what they think they deserve to be paid, which that's the league we live in.
Go get
your money. But yes,
go get your money.
Show me the money, like Jerry Maguire. But you also have to think about it. If you want to be paid the man, go win the man games.
I agree.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
But you want to be playing like a big boy? Go win.
I agree.
This is my argument. This is my argument with everything. If you
I agree.
You want to be paid big boy money, go win big boy games.
Right.
You want to be the big man on campus? Win the big man.
I
win
agree.
the MVP. Win the Super Bowl.
Here's my question for y'all.
I agree.
32 teams, right?
Yes.
Where's Lamar? Where's he ranking the starting quarterbacks in the league right now? Where does he rank? Is he in the top third, or is he in the middle?
I would say top third.
I would say top third.
He's not the bottom third. I know that.
No, he's top third for sure.
So he's top third. So if he was a traditional quarterback, stood in the pocket and was able to sling the rock, would he have gotten paid?
I think yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's the NFL that everybody wants.
Right. But I think they're saying this. I think I brought this up a few. It's that injury risk of him taking off and running. He'll take unnecessary shots. But that's his game too.
Right, and I think that's part of the reason as to why. And I don't know. We don't know the whole reason as to why they haven't come to a deal yet. I feel like the Ravens. I feel like this have already been wrapped up already. If they feel like Lamar is their franchise guy, he is going to be the one that carries them back to the promised land. He is our dude. We don't want to go to the draft. We don't want to have to go on free agency and find another quarterback. We have utilized resources to put this guy in the best position to succeed. Then pay the guy,
right?
Because he has won you more ball games when he is your starting quarterback than when he is not under center. Like I saw the stat on ESPN. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it's like they were like 42-16 or something like that when he plays, and then when he doesn't play, it's almost like they're 500 or they got a losing record.
My question is, what are they trying to do? Because I'm like you, like if he's your guy, pay him, obviously. But
I just think
is identical to him.
So
So like,
he-
what are they?
Yeah.
Where are they picking the draft? Because at that point, if you don't get them, you're going to live with a quarterback that's identical to what you don't want in Lamar. That's better than the backup. So then you got to go draft a QB, or you got to go.
Well, they have him franchise tag, so he has to play. He'll be there for at least another year.
Yeah, but,
so
so can he? What happens if he holds out because he's asked for a trade? If he holds out, he just doesn't get paid.
He'll still get paid
That's what I'm saying.
for his contract.
Mm.
Now there could probably something comes along to it that they're either going to get to the point where they force him to play or not, because that's what usually happens
Right.
to holdouts.
And does
Usually they get paid or they get
Remember the Zeke
traded.
year and
Yeah,
Dak
right.
year?
right? And is it another like? And I could be wrong about this. Isn't he representing himself? Like he doesn't have an agent.
I think it's like mom or
Uh,
so. Like
Does
I think it's a
mom.
family member,
Is that hurting the negotiation?
probably.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Because
I think part
I
of
get
it
some
too.
emotions into this thing.
Right. And I agree from his side, it's like the market that's been set previously before him, when it's their turn to step to the table, they're going to either want to get close to what everybody else is making per year, or they're going to want, even they can make it $100,000 more than the first guy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be millions. A lot of times it is a couple
Just
millions,
give him a
but
fair shot.
he wants his money, and I think the Ravens are not comfortable with the amount to pay him, and I think one of the reasons as to that is because of the injury risk.
He missed the
Um,
playoff.
I don't know if you
He
guys.
missed the last 4 games of the season because he wasn't completely healthy, which I understand. Not playing when
agree.
you're not healthy, but when it's nut up
I
or shut
agree.
up time, like
Oh.
he was
I
out
agree.
when that game when Cincinnati won. If Lamar Jackson was in the backfield during that game where they handed off instead of having the quarterback run the ball, we're not talking about the Cincinnati Bengals being in the AFC Championship game. We're talking about the
Yeah, no,
Baltimore Ravens being in the AFC Championship game against the
I,
Chiefs.
He's
I agree completely. I agree
I'm like
completely.
playing his tail off too.
so right.
Go ahead,
So
Cleveland.
the first 5 years of his career, he's a 63.7% passer. He's thrown for 1,200 yards, 101 touchdowns, and 38 picks.
12,000 yards.
Yeah, 12,209 is his.
That's not bad.
It's really not, but
3 years.
That's 3
no,
years.
that's 5.
That's 5 years and 3 picks in 5 years.
12 divided by 5. That's 2,400.
3
That's
picks.
2,400.
3 picks.
No, he
Right.
said 38.
No, 38. I thought he said 3.
Oh, he threw 38 picks, right?
38 picks.
38.
So that's
I was
2,400.
about to say 3 picks.
If you
That's great.
average that at just 12,000, that's 2,400 yards a year. And you said 38,
38 picks
and that's 7.5 picks a year.
and 101 touchdowns. That's just passing. That's not counting for the
Right.
rushing.
Yeah, that's about 20 yards in the air.
That's 20
I mean, 20 touchdowns
touchdowns
in the air.
So now look at now I want like
What
that'd
about
be
his
like,
last 2 when he's been hurt? Those last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know how accurate this one is. 33 touchdowns, 20 picks, 6.3.4, 7.2 yards an attempt. In the postseason, 3 touchdowns, 5 picks, 55% completion percentage in the postseason.
Mm.
Where you gotta be big boy football
yeah.
and play big boy
I
football.
agree.
Yeah.
What about the fearless leader that got paid in New York? What was his stats? How do they compare to that?
What's
You got this.
And what was their winning record?
All you
Daniel?
gotta do is look
Daniel
up-
Daniel Jones.
Daniel
all you
Jones.
gotta do is look at Dak. He'll tell you everything. He got paid big boy money and hadn't done anything.
Oh yeah, he's got paid big boy money.
But that's Jack's argument about if you want big boy money, you got to win the big boy
But
games. That's all Jack's
Dallas-
argument.
Dallas-
Well, you got to,
Example
man.
is always going to be
Fucking
that.
freaking
Man.
Ryan damn Tannehill is a perfect
Bro,
freaking example of that.
you know
No,
dang well.
no,
You know,
no.
I'm with you with Ryan Tannehill. You want big boy money, you win big boy games. Patrick Mahomes is worth every cent he's making because he's been in the league he's been a starting quarterback for 5 years and he's been in 3 Super Bowls, 5 AFC Championship games. Come on, man. He's worth every bit they're paying him because guess what? That franchise has changed forever because of one guy.
Okay.
Dak Prescott has not changed the Dallas Cowboys. They're still a mediocre Cowboy football team, and they have not competed in the NFC Championship in the last 20 years. Well, you pay big boy money, win big boy games. You had opportunity to win big boy game, and you get smoked by a team that gets embarrassed by your division rival. So stop playing with me and stop saying that Dak's superstar Dak might not be the problem. It might be over the top. But come on now. Quit being mediocre.
Ooh.
Quit being mediocre.
So,
Agreed. Dak is
real
not.
quick, the slapping from New York. He's only played 4 years, so he has one less season than Lamar. He's at 64% completion,
Similar.
1,603 yards, 11,603 yards,
Pretty dang close.
6.7 yards attempt, 60 touchdowns, 34 picks.
Way down.
60 touchdowns?
It's way down.
Mhm.
That's less than Lamar.
A lot. That's over.
That's 40 touchdowns or so
Yeah,
less.
over
Right.
40.
And through the air.
But rushing, just him throwing the ball is that.
We're talking
Yeah,
about
he's not
throwing
a-
the ball. We're talking about a quarterback. Quarterbacks aren't known
yeah.
to rush the ball, so we can't sit here and say the argument that Daniel Jones.
No.
Yeah,
You can't
What did I
you
say
can't
Lamar
put the
was
rushing
passing
into it.
wise?
But
100
that's
something.
what sets
He was like
12,
12-4, I think.
12-4.
yeah, but that's what sets Lamar different from so many other guys. Like, is that he has the capability of running. Now, if the Ravens wanted to be smart in the future, they probably wouldn't run him as much.
But all right,
He still has the ability and the playmaking ability that
now do rushing
that
yards.
when shit breaks down,
6.
he can scramble.
Now do rushing touchdowns.
It's 6. By the way, at 600 yards more, Lamar's thrown for 600 yards more
In 1 year more.
than Daniel Jones. So that may be a season, or probably less than half a season.
The touchdown differential is huge.
Yeah.
The touchdown difference and rushing. Do the rushing touchdowns.
All right, Bingo. So
Daniel Jones has thrown
so
just
Daniel Jones has played 54 games in the NFL. He has rushed for 1,708 yards
But most of it was
and
scrambling.
has 12 touchdowns and 13 fumbles.
Okay.
He's fumble eyes. We know that.
Yeah, but he's not a runner either.
So Lamar, he's gonna be freaking.
Yeah, he's gonna be ridiculous because that's what
He has rushed for 4,437 yards, 24 touchdowns, and has fumbled 28 times.
Yeah, but he's carried the ball. They both carried the ball.
He's
quite a bit.
attempted 727 times.
4,000 yards rushing compared to 1,000 yard rushing. Daniel Jones got paid as a quarterback, correct?
I agree.
Daniel Jones just got paid as a quarterback, okay? Not a running quarterback, but a quarterback nonetheless. He has less yards, less touchdowns, almost the same amount of interceptions as Lamar Jackson. On the same, like the Baltimore Ravens have been in the playoffs every year that Lamar Jackson has been a quarterback for the Ravens, or starting quarterback. The Ravens have been in the playoffs. Daniel Jones has been in the league 4 years, and the Giants have only been in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs twice since his 4-year tenure. Am I wrong on the two? Two might be dry. It might just be one.
How many times have Baltimore been in?
Every year that Lamar
Every year
that Lamar has been a quarterback in Baltimore, they have made the playoffs.
I don't know.
I agree. You're preaching to the choir. I believe that man should be paid for what he's done.
That man, they say.
That man.
I mean, he's brought you success, and you're not rewarding him.
Hey, what's going on with? So we agree, pay Lamar. Lamar, you keep doing your thing, big dog. You'll get your money.
Hey,
You'll get your green.
Real quick,
Aaron
about
Rodgers.
that. Did y'all? Hold up. Before we talk about Aaron, did y'all see the quote from Jim Irsay of the Colts about how he feels about giving players fully guaranteed contracts? Have y'all seen that?
No.
He basically came out and said that he doesn't believe him. He doesn't think that players should get them. I was like, when I read his comments, I'm like, that's such a typical owner bullshit to say.
Right, because it's his.
We don't want to play
money.
we don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to pay our players fully guaranteed contracts, but we're gonna sign Goodell to another contract extension because he helps us.
I'm gonna sell that. I'm gonna sell that dang.
He's great. He's so great because we get more money.
I'm gonna sell that Jonathan Taylor jersey for $100 a pop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sell that Peyton Manning jersey for $150 a pop.
We're gonna use you for your abilities and your PR and your money and everything else.
We all know this. As soon as you sign that dotted line that says whatever team it is, property,
you are
operated, owned by the NFL, you are theirs. Your rights as an individual are basically gone at that point.
Yep.
So take advantage of it. I don't think it's right that they don't get their guaranteed money because that's a load of barnacle to me. Because what's the NFL short for by the players? not,
not
for
for
long.
long.
So,
But
Right.
the only
like the
pro
great
league, right, with fully guaranteed is baseball, right?
And
Is
basketball.
I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know anything about basketball's contracts.
Baseball is a lot of
They're both fully
Oh,
guaranteed.
they both are.
I think so.
I know the money's in baseball. If you're gonna get paid, if you're really good at baseball, you can get paid a lot of money.
why the Yankees.
It's also longer seasons.
That's why the
Right.
Yankees were so good for so long because there was no cap and they had all the money.
Mm-hmm. They can just pay.
They literally
Okay,
did.
I was just wondering that if
Why not? They're also the most valued. Like I don't know if you guys ever look into it, but like,
For the most-
and I know they're the Yankees, whatever, but like they're valued over $7
Uh-huh.
billion this year when it came out.
that's it.
Crazy.
Just $7 billion.
Guess who's worth more than them?
The Cowboys,
The mediocre boys from Dallas.
I could have swore the base.
pinche
Well, it might have
Cowboys.
been MLB.
It was
MLB.
it
I
was
could've
it
swore
was
they were
Real
overall.
Madrid, Dallas, and then
Yeah.
He got
Who?
excited. We talking about soccer. He got excited.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Vamos los blancos.
shit. We can't take you nowhere, man. Can't take you nowhere.
I'm in the blancos. Yes, I know. All right, so for the last topic of the night, because we are 90 minutes into this great episode,
Actually, we're
great
like
stuff
2
so far.
hours
We're
into
gonna
this
probably,
thing.
yeah, it's great. It makes up for all the time lost that we've had. The last little segment we got is the best sporting event ever, or the best sporting event in general. And when Cleet and I talked about earlier, we decided to kind of break it up into two categories: one that you would want to go see live in person, and one that is the best to watch on TV. Okay. I saw this. I think I saw it on Twitter when I got the picture. Right, and it said the best championship event. It had like NCAA tournament, the World Cup final, college football playoff, the Super Bowl, best of 7 series in the NBA, the World Series / others.
You already
Right.
know the answer
So,
for some of these guys. I don't know why you asked this question.
all right. Well, you never know. You might
Oh,
the listeners might not remember or whatever. But we'll start with our little ginger down there in the bottom left corner. So Cobbs, you got best sporting event that you would go see
yeah.
live, and then best sporting event that you'd rather see or that is better on TV,
So
and it would be
my
live.
head goes in a whole different direction. I'm sure a lot of y'all's will, but to me, if you're going to get your money's worth, I'm going to games. I'm going to 7 games because I can pay the same money
Of what?
of World Series. Obviously, screw NBA.
Okay.
I hate watching that. Like the same conversation we just had about boys basketball in college. Like they don't run plays; they just freaking run the court and have to do their thing. Whatever. If that's the point, go to YMCA, play pickup games. That's what you're doing anyways. But
Oh, he's trying to be Adam tonight, boys.
I mean,
I know.
go to YMCA, play pickup games. That's what the Golden State Warriors did while they won so much. But that's beside the point.
Because they can shoot the ball, right?
Dude,
Okay, that has nothing to do with it.
I'm just saying they had
Gotcha. All right, I got you.
building freaking teams for days. Like I can go
So the
out.
best athletes don't play basketball, right?
I didn't say that. I could go out and pick the best pickup basketball guys on the street and go to the YMCA and win every time. And never even touch the court. But not the point. Anyways, I'm getting my money's worth in going to 7 games because now I could be completely wrong with this, but I feel like you could pay pretty close to the same price going to World Series 7 games and going to the Super Bowl in 1 game. Now, is it going to be identical? No, but I think it's going to be somewhat close depending on where you sit. Obviously, like if you're sitting front row of Super Bowl, it's going to be ungodly. If you sit front row of World Series and 7 games, you're going to pay more. I get that, but that's But to me, you're getting more for you're getting more entertainment now because you get to watch more. You get to watch more games.
I don't know about that.
Watch more games is what I'm saying. I get more sports entertainment out of it because I get to watch more. I get to watch 7 games compared to.
That's if it goes.
If it goes, I agree. But you're still getting at least what? You're getting at least 4.
4.
You're at least getting.
Yeah.
4.
You get
I agree.
guaranteed 4
Okay,
quarters.
that's your opinion. So that's live. What
agree
about
with you
the
with
best thing? What's the best event to watch? You'd rather watch on TV instead of actually go to it live because TV makes it better to watch.
World Series is great, regardless. But entertainment-wise, sitting at the house, to me, you're picking the Super Bowl just because it's more, the commercials and you get the halftime show. Like it's entertaining because you get more out of that on TV.
Yeah, but we all know that
the World Series gets boring to me if you're not there.
Yeah, the commercials.
No, it's pretty fun.
I mean, it's still
World
fun.
Series is
Don't get
pretty
me wrong.
entertaining,
I still
especially
love
when
it.
your team's playing in it. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
fun.
whatever. But yeah, well, it's so hard to play when you're beating. Hey, it's so hard to play in it when you're beating trash cans and beating either.
Oh my god!
Oh,
So, I don't know. That's tough because, like, watching the Super Bowl on TV is always fun. Watching the World Series is great too. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes 7 games or 5 games with our work schedule, it's tough to even get to watch half of it.
Right.
You catch the end of it or half of it.
All right, very good. So now let's keep rotating here. So let's go to the next guy at the bottom there. Jack, best sporting event, championship event to attend live, and the best one that you think is better on TV.
the best one on TV and the best one live. I'm not going to say baseball either of these options. I'm sorry, Cobbs, but
That's fine. That's my opinion.
that is. I'm gonna hit you with the chuck hand. Terrible, Kenny. Terrible. More for less. That whole argument's BS. You get more for less because they'll give you a towel at a damn World Series
more
game,
for
and
the
they'll give you front row seats to the.
I
You
didn't
get
say
a concert. You get a concert.
the same.
You get a concert at the Super Bowl compared to the World Series game. But anyway, I would say the best thing to watch on TV. I mean, if you can't go to it, of course, you would have to say like watching the Super Bowl, or I would say even watching the Masters on live. Watching Masters would probably be better because you can get the whole experience. I mean, just to see the Masters in person, you get a whole weekend. I mean, you get to sit in one spot in the Masters and you get to watch. If you go, you sit at one spot, or you have to follow a certain golfer around. I would say watching the Masters definitely up there. A sporting event I'd like to see live. Of course, any football coach in America is going to say the Super Bowl. That's no hard holds barred. But I would say like a good seat at the Final Four has to be up there live because you can get more bang for your buck. Listen to this, big guy. If you get 3 games, if you pay for the whole sessions of the NBA, of the finals or the Final Four, you get 3 games, my friend.
Do you get to sit there? Or do they make you pay for each game?
No, you can get the all session pass and you can buy for all 3 games.
Like college World Series, you can do that. So hey,
No, I'm just saying. I mean, you get more bang for your buck. You get the Final
You didn't
Four.
choose that.
I know, but I'm
man.
saying like
God
that.
dang it.
Even like me and Hannah were talking about this the other day. Would you like pick? So think about it, like you could pick. Would you pick the opening weekend, the round of 64? Like you get 3-4 games the round of 64. Or would you pick like the Sweet 16 because you'll get 3 guaranteed games at the Sweet 16? You'll get the Sweet 16 game, the Elite 8 game, and you'll get 4 games in that hit or mix in 2 days. In the Final Four, you get 3 games in 2 days. The Final Four, for me, like mid-court or real close to the court, the Final Four live would be impressive. Like imagine the crazy games we've watched in the last 3 years. I mean, Kansas came back down 20 points. They came back and beat North Carolina in the national championship game. Baylor stomping Creighton in the Final Four to go to make their run. That's the first time a Texas team has won the Final Four. Even the crazy shot that North Carolina hit to win the game. I mean, think about the madness that's in March at the end of it, the conclusion.
Amen.
I think
I agree.
any coach is going to say Super Bowl, but I think live and in person, the environment real close to the court where you can feel the emotions would probably be the Final Four. For sure, it would be so Final Four live, all 3 games, and the Masters on TV.
You didn't say anything about hockey. Kind of disappointed in me.
Hockey's cool.
I know. That's kind of disappointing.
Hey, well, you should have said it then. Damn it! Over here talking about
a hockey game.
World Series live.
You should hear this dude. You should hear this dude.
Hockey's good.
All he talks about is hockey a lot of times.
I do. I love hockey. I love the hell. If I could coach hockey, I would coach hockey.
I've never been, so I need to go to a hockey game.
Hockey. Anyways, all right. Rotating up here. Cleat. Best live, bets on TV, sir.
Oh man, Jack stole my TV one. So
you can say the same thing.
I'm a big. I love the major tournaments, but the Masters. You know what's that old saying? They invented HDTV for the Masters and the Super Bowl, right? I mean, Augusta National is. I mean, it's next weekend. If no one just Just curious. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next weekend's the Masters. If you need me, I'll be parked on my couch watching the freaking Masters. Don't bother me.
Okay.
All right.
Amen.
That goes for you too, Grizzla.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no. I don't think you can
Sorry.
put that above her right now. He wants it to go. He wants it to make it go.
So, live. God dang.
Wow.
What's left?
I'm like torn between two. I really am.
Okay, we'll hurry.
Shut the hell up, you little bald piece of poop.
Okay, thank you.
He called you poop.
He
I
said
know.
poop. Hey.
He said
I really was thinking like the Stanley Cup final, like all 7 games of Stanley Cup, and just going off what Jack said about like playoff hockey and like just say Dallas, how like just the energy of that arena. Think about it, if you're guaranteed 7 games and you get to go to all 7 at those 2 different sites.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I've never been to hockey, professional hockey live. I've seen minor league hockey, but the Stanley Cup playoffs, I'll take the Stanley Cup playoffs. I think,
You would.
my second choice was the college football playoffs because me personally, I enjoy college football more than I enjoy the NFL, and that's just me.
I agree.
Right? I know the NFL, every game is within like a score, right? A possession.
Yeah, for
the most part. College, you get those in the semifinals, especially the last 5-6 years, you've gotten those big blowouts. And the national championship game is usually hit or miss too. But again, as a college football fan, I think I would if they would move the semifinal games like to the stadiums, like to the home, like the top seed gets the home stadium advantage on that.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Man,
Huh?
broken whole can of worms, man.
Dude, I know. I think college football is better at in a college stadium. Not necessarily like the Cotton Bowl or something like that. You just because you get the whole vibe of the town and
Set up perfect.
So let me vouch back on this, buddy. I'm going to ask you a quick question.
okay.
So the year Clemson beat Bama.
Yes, sir.
Does Clemson beat Bama at Bama?
In Tuscaloosa?
This was not a debate.
Probably not.
No.
I mean,
so that's
probably
great.
not.
So we'll go back anyway. So,
But I think the neutral field helps bring balance to both sides, and it makes it entertaining.
Right,
I agree.
but you lose that thing that makes college football cool is all the
Yeah, well,
it's
but it
the
wouldn't be.
weekend. It's the atmosphere in the weekend and
I agree, but it's
the
just
thing that
it's
makes
a
college
neutral.
football fun. I mean, hell, Jack.
Well, you can have that same argument for high school football here in Texas. Then you know what I mean, like
It depends
if you
where. I
wanted
think it
to,
depends where you
same
are,
thing.
though.
But I don't. I mean, you think TCU beats the team they
no.
beat, and they're at
No.
their away?
No.
Yeah,
The
you know,
neutrals.
they beat Michigan in
You
Michigan.
think Florida Atlantic is making the Final Four if they're playing at home stadiums of like Purdue and all those teams
Probably not.
in basketball? No.
No.
I mean,
I know
I think
home field is like in football.
I
Home
get
field's
you.
worth about 3 points, 3 to 4 points if you're looking at the gambling side of things.
I get you.
But I mean,
I understand where you're coming from, but the neutral helps bring a little bit of a balance to the playing
it does.
field.
But I think you
and
lose.
the better team will win.
But I think you lose a little bit of what makes college football cool. But to go back to it, Stanley Cup Finals, I would go watch the Stanley Cup Final. If I could get all expenses paid to both arenas and I get like center ice, let's go.
Yeah, let's go, baby. I'll be your +1 for that.
That's good. Well, I guess I'll wrap this up here. I'm pretty sure that y'all can all take a guess about which sport that I would like to. I would see live.
Yeah, the NBA Finals, duh.
Soccer.
That's definitely the World Cup final.
That would be cool. Just that atmosphere, though, too.
Yeah, Josh.
The
Josh is
atmosphere
saving
would
up
be
to
great.
take me.
Especially what makes them really, really good is depending on which country they're in. Now, because you're always going to get people that go. And like when I watched the World Cup, like when like the last was in Qatar, and then Russia and stuff like that. But like when you see those crowds, stadiums, like because every stadium for the most part is packed for every game, no matter who's playing. They're always packed. And then of course and I'm always wondering like how much money have people spent to be there at that time? Because I'm sure they got packages that go see 3 or 4 games at this stadium or whatever. But like a lot of those people are like you got people that are rich.
It,
There's a bunch of people in the rich world that do it, and they got some people that have saved up for
their whole life.
like hey for that one, right? You know what I mean? So
Is the U.S. hosting the World Cup?
yes, it's Mexico, U.S., and
When?
Canada. They're
Is it the
tri-hosts.
next one?
26.
26.
Hey, funny story.
2026.
Guess who's
Is Frisco?
26 is cool. No, Frisco's not. It's AT&T.
Oh, that would be freaking badass.
Josh got it.
Yeah, so NRG and AT&T are hosting games, and of course, like the big places here in the U.S., the big places in Canada, and then like of course like a couple of states.
Like the Azteca in Mexico City.
Yeah, but like the World Cup final, it's just like any other final that's one off. But you know what I mean? There's tons of crowd, there's tons of drama, but there's a potential that you see a really good game, like the World Cup final from in December between France and Argentina was.
Shootout, baby.
It was. I remember I had to record it and then come back and watch it later, and I was on the edge of my seat. It was. It was. It was the best World Cup final I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Me and Hannah were eating
If that
pizza
makes
in New
sense.
York watching it with all these.
It was
people.
amazing, great game. But that's what the sport can bring you. Now it could also bring you the opposite side where it's 0-0 and boring shit. But what sport cannot? Every sport can deliver. And then the watching aspect, I wrote down Masters too because, going to Augusta would be badass to see the course, to watch them actually in live playing in the Masters because there's just that extra,
It's the Masters.
about, yeah, the allure of it and all that kind of stuff. But like watching it live, I don't feel like you'd get the same, takeaway when you get to watch it on TV because on TV, like anything, you get to see. Like if there's like 5 or 6 guys in the running for it, you get to see, the TV's going to have all 5 or 6 guys in every shot. Where if you're there live, you don't get to experience all that. You know what I mean? Now I think if you're at the 18th hole at Augusta,
when Tiger's walking down the fairway for the game or the match-winning putt.
Oh, yeah, that would send like little, tingling sensation all over. You know what I mean? Like, but
what was that? One more time. One more time. Just one more time. For your audio listeners,
but anyways,
he just put his hand on his head.
All right, listeners. All right, so we are entering into our final act here where we are wrapping this great episode up. And I truly think that this is one of our best episodes. It didn't have the sound bite of last week, but the content was good.
Well,
all of our input was good.
It's
we're over an hour. We're almost at 2 hours.
It's nice, like it's nice being able to like talk to y'all. Yeah,
it's nice.
We text every once in a while, like actually getting down, like sitting down and talking.
Yeah, So what, like the listeners, like for our listeners that actually, appreciate you.
They're still listening.
Well, y'all don't want to. Hey, obviously, we'll figure this time part out. But but the most part is at the end of the day, like we're just up here, we're shooting the shit, we're having fun with each other because that's what we wanted in our podcast was us to come together and have fun. And then if other people jump on board and they want to be a part of it, great.
If not,
well,
we're still going to be doing this.
Yeah. Right, we're still going to drink our beers and smoke our cigars and have fun doing it because this is what we wanted. Everything else that comes with it is just bonus. So this is great. Totally forgot what was going to come. Anyways,
wrapping this stuff up. Come on.
Yeah, well, no, we're wrapping it up. But what I was going to quickly say is that what the listeners don't know is that even though we've been recording for almost 2 hours now, by the time we first get on our podcast here and by the time we get off, it could be anywhere between 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So listeners understand that this is something that we all look forward to. We have a great pregame before we record, and then we usually have a great postgame after we record.
Should record, like just hit record and just let us just start talking.
Oh man, just record from the beginning and
see how long we can go.
Oh, it'd be glorious. We'd have to.
I remember when we had jobs.
Truly glorious.
We'd lose our jobs pretty quickly. Or we'd be in trouble for bullying Josh.
Yes, that we would. Or mud flap up there.
Or mud flap.
That would be.
Or mud flap up there,
Yeah,
Yeah,
hey,
or
listen,
yeah,
you little
definitely mud
elf. Don't
flash.
make me freaking come to Forney and just. You know what? Just for that,
And travel
when the
there.
baby's born.
Yeah,
When the baby's born, I'm gonna come to your house, beat on the door, and run.
that's fine. You got to fight Taylor for that one, so that's your fault. That's your problem at that point.
I ain't.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
she'll stab
Yeah,
somebody.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she'll get those knives.
Just or come the day before and put them tall where she can't reach.
Ooh, very
That's
true.
That's rough.
Anyways, like I said, another great episode where we touched on catching up, our Be the Light segment, which is our favorite segment as always. We dabbled a little about CDLs, uh, March Madness, the craziness going on there. Opening day of baseball tomorrow. Good luck to all of our teams. Go Rangers. Go Yankees. Fuck the Astros. And
You don't talk to
just
daddy
kidding. Go
like that,
Astros.
damn it. Do not talk
Just
to
kidding.
daddy.
Yes, just kidding. Go Astros, and of course the best championship ever. And a couple things here, a couple stats. I don't know if y'all have anything else to add to it. I do got one quote saved off of Twitter, so I'll quickly say that one too. But real quick, the stats I got one. I shared it with y'all earlier when they first happened, but now our listeners can see it if they don't know. In March Madness, first time since the tournament expanded to 64, which when they did that, I think it was in the 70s or something like that, off the top of my head, that there has never, this is the first time that 0 number one seeds have been in the Elite Eight. So it's just mind blowing. It's mind blowing. It's been over close to 50 years. I would take a guess, 40 to 50 years, that there hasn't been a number one seed make it to the Elite Eight, and all of them this year got knocked out before it, which is,
Crazy.
obviously shout out to those teams, but super crazy, especially, at least thinking Bama or Houston would make it. I thought Kansas and Purdue were a little bit overrated, but just came to the point. But the second one, just a shout out to Cleveland, the Spurs. Tim Duncan has more career wins, including the playoffs, than the entire Timberwolves have for their entire franchise history. And there's the numbers there, right?
Timmy D,
Timmy Boy has
baby.
1,158 total
The
wins.
big
The
fundamental.
entire franchise of the Timberwolves, 1,105. So shout out to Timmy Duncan. He's from the island of St. Croix. VI massive in the building. Good stuff there. It's St. Croix. I had to give a shout out there. Anyways, quote of the day, right? I'm sure we've heard this from our kids a lot. I got this from a coach off Twitter, who always puts up great quotes of the day on a whiteboard. The quote says, "Man, wait till I'm a senior." I'm sure we've all heard that before, right? From our kids. And he says, well, most student athletes think they're going to magically have this power and voice when they become a senior one day. Time doesn't all of a sudden turn you into a leader, but your example over time does. If you want to speak up on your team, make sure your work ethic and investment have your back. And if it does, then your age is irrelevant. Don't wait. Lead now. That was from a guy named Louis Varela.
I like it.
Yeah,
Picasso.
Yeah, great stuff. Anyways, fellas, as always, appreciate you being on the show tonight. I thought we had a great episode for the D.B.A.B. podcast. Missing Adam, but we'll get him back next time.
Baby.
Take care, Cobbs. Good luck with your baseball and in district. Cleet, good luck with those Lions and track. And Jack,
Stay frosty.
do Jack
Stay
things.
frosty, my friend.
Do Jack things.
Hey, from the thing that we've been talking about this week, we've been talking about. Good luck. Hopefully, you hear positive wordage. Hopefully, the same on my end too. But we know all the higher powers in control of all that. We're going to do what he has laid out for us. But again, fellas, thank you all. Love you, appreciate you, for all that you do. And hold on, get back here. Get back. Stop. And without further ado, gentlemen, is the D.A.B.